Hi everyone, this is Lipika and we are doing 90 seconds off the mat with Rahul Chabra. He's also known as the Encyclopedia of Indian MMA. So let's see what he has to offer today. Hi Rahul, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much, Lipika.
All right. So, you've been associated with Indian MMA for as long as I can remember. What was the first MMA event that you ever watched live?
It was Super Fight League for sure. I think that league laid the genesis of Indian MMA. And for everyone watching, Lipika has been a part of the scene even before I came in.
Okay, so what's the one fact about Indian MMA that you know that almost nobody else knows?
Well, a lot of facts. First and foremost, I'm India's first UFC PI certified MMA coach. And there are more. There are more. The first women's MMA fight that I ever saw was Lipika versus Manjeet. Back in 2012 SFL Challenges. And there is more, and this is actually for all the amateur fighters. Recently, the government has changed the sports code, the National Sports Government Code. So the landscape of amateur MMA in the country is going to change. So all the amateur MMA fighters, things are going to get very different and difficult for sure for some of the professionals who are not legit.
Okay, so what's the one opinion that you have about Indian MMA that you know will upset people for sure, but you'll say it anyway?
A very hard pill to swallow for me and for a lot of people. I think we lack in coaching, and as a mindset, our fighters are still not there. I know I may get a lot of hate for this, but our coaching, our coaches, our athletes are not yet there. But I've been telling everyone that it's a part of the evolution. There was nothing when MMA started in our country, and now we are at a certain stage, and there's a long way to go.
Have you ever held back an opinion because you knew it would just cause too much chaos?
Well, yes, many a times. And I actually wanted to hold back and not answer the previous question, but I had to. I had to.
Yes, absolutely. Because actually, you're known for that as well. So,
Spitting facts since ever. Yeah.
okay, so you've placed Indian MMA at so many promotions, Bellator, PFL, Karate Combat. Which placement are you most proud of?
If I have to weigh something higher than all the placements, it's managing Kantaraj's career. I loved him as a fan, and it was very disappointing for me to see him battle contractual issues and a lot of other things because of the way his career was shaping up. But him signing Brave, I think, is a feather in the hat. But I'm proud of all the placements.
Here's a serious one, and I think a lot of amateur fighters probably should listen to this. What does an Indian MMA fighter need to fix before they're ready for any international promotion?
I think they need to fix their mindset. They need to fix their fight IQ. They need to fix their camp before they actually think of competing outside, because more than fighting or more than technical skill, developing an athlete or becoming an athlete is a science. There is more to the sport of MMA than just offense, defense, and counter and transitions. So I think one has to fix the entire science, and all the fighters who actually want to succeed in their career go to a good training camp, go to a good coach who knows the entire gamut of activities which is required to make an MMA fighter.
So, one fighter you wish you could have managed but couldn't.
No regrets. I never think like that, but I was managing Rabindra for a while, Rabindra Dhan. And I'm so proud of this guy because that particular dream of going to the UFC via Road to UFC was something that we had seen together along with Coach David. So, and this was 3 years back. I'm getting goosebumps actually. So, this was 3 years back when Rabindra was still an underdog in the Indian circuit. This was a time when he didn't even have that much of local support.
This I definitely want to know. Have you ever been wrong about a fighter and had to eat your words?
Well, yes. Yes, happens all the time. This is MMA, and there is nothing wrong. There is nothing right. It's just the likelihood of things going in favor and against favor. So most of the times I've underestimated our own fighters, and other times I've overestimated my own fighters. So it happens all the time. And I think as an analyst, what's important is to be fair and impartial. But happens all the time. This is MMA.
Yes. As you said that, you're an analyst, but a lot of people may not, or maybe they know that you're also a commentator, you're a analyst, you're a manager. Which one of these roles do you enjoy the most?
I think the batch that I would want to live forever is being a fan. I'm an Indian MMA fan. I was born like that decades back when MMA had just started, and that's how I would want to live, being a fan. And I think if you are a fan, you can do wonders. I was a fan, I was an ardent follower of the sport of Indian MMA, and that's why I could do so much. So I would always live to, like to live like a fan.
That's nice. That's so sweet. Okay. Indian striking or Indian grappling? What's more dangerous according to you right now?
Striking. We are born strikers. Grappling has different levels, but then the kind of grappling or wrestling that we do, mud wrestling or mat wrestling or Greco-Roman or Olympic, is not meant for MMA. For MMA, it's a different kind of wrestling, grappling that we follow. But I think we are born strikers. We're born strikers.
All right. Here's a controversial one. SFL era or MFN era?
MFN era, anytime, SFL era was the genesis of Indian MMA, but MFN era is the golden era of Indian MMA. I am not being biased, but I'm spitting the facts. I'm telling the truth.
Definitely, Super Fight League laid the foundation, but what MFN is doing is something extremely different, difficult, and it's we are a global name now.
I think we just got our teaser. One opinion that got you the most hate.
I think more than opinion, I'll tell you, when we went to fight Karate Combat in Dubai, when that opportunity came, I reached out to all the prospects that people can think of in their weight categories. And I asked everyone if they're interested in fighting Karate Combat. Nobody knew about Karate Combat. They all said, I'm an MMA fighter, मैं karate नहीं खेलता हूँ, मैं karate के बारे में जानता नहीं हूँ. So somehow I managed to collect 3 people, including Himanshu, and then we went there. And Rana lost his fight, Himanshu won, and Pawan Gupta also lost his fight. And that was a turning point in my career when everyone was hating on me. Everyone said that I'm an anti-national because 2 of our guys lost to Pakistan. And there was a lot of hate. And people actually thought that I did it for money. But let me be honest, when we manage fighters, there is barely any money involved. I mean, of course, there is money, and I don't want anyone to do it for free. But then that was not the outcome that we anticipated. 2 of our guys losing out of 3, and I got a lot of hate. But this is MMA, Sometimes you're the hammer, other times you get nailed.
Okay, here's the last question. Who is the best Indian female fighter of the year? Who gets that vote?
Back in 2012, it was Deepika Onyar. But in 2026, I think Pooja, of course, she's actually an inspiration for a lot of younger ladies who want to venture into the sport. And it's not only her alone in the sport. We've got Priya. Priya is fighting at JCK, and she is a bigger example. I think she represents what it means to be a woman fighter. You've got your own life. She's got a family. She takes care of family. She's married now. And she's still fighting. So I think she represents our women power. And it's not only Pooja, Priya, but then there are more fighters like Sonam. So if you ask me, हमारी लड़कियां लड़कों से अच्छा कर रही हैं. And it's pretty evident. If you look at the data, you analyze the data, we get to see that our women fighters are delivering more than our boys.
Absolutely. I talk about it all the time that if you look at the statistics, actually women fighters or women in combat sports are actually representing more and getting more glory for India. So yeah.
I hope I'm not going to get hate for this opinion. I wanted to hold myself back that it's okay. It's always about, spitting facts.
I think this was the best interview till now that we've done, Rahul. Thank you so much for coming here and doing this with us. Thank you so much.